The three films that have likely had the biggest impact on me in terms of life decisions are Frozen, American Beauty, and today's film, Arrival. The first time I watched it was nearly 8 years ago to the day. It was either January 20th or January 21st, 2017. I'm not fully sure. I didn't properly specify in my calendar. Before jumping into things, I want to say spoilers ahead. I know it's 8 years old and I doubt that many who haven't seen it will be coming to this review, but this film is so special to me, and I think that first watch is one of the most unique watching experiences I've ever had. Please, if you haven't seen it before, please, if you're somehow unspoiled, please go watch it. Arrival is a 2016 science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve and starring Amy Adams. I assume you've seen this film and know the movie, and if you really want, you have Google. For this film, I want to talk about Louise. First, I want to talk about hair. The second, I'm going to give myself a section to ramble and rant, and I'll just cut it down in post. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the journey, or the hero's journey specifically. If you just want to see my final thoughts and score, feel free to jump to the time listed on screen or in the description. With all that out of the way, let's get tangled up in this hair nonsense. I'm not going to claim to be a hair expert. If my camera is better, you're going to see the split ends I have. So forgive me if I call something a bun or a ponytail that has a more proper name. To my eyes, throughout the film, she has four main hairstyles. The professor, as I call it, the ponytail, the bun, her hair down, with some variations within these. The first is only shown in two real scenes, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. The other three, however, are the rest of the entire film. I make the case that the ponytail is tied to business, getting stuff done, and to life without Ian. The bun is tied to Ian, to being more open. It's kind of placed between the start of her arc. Finally, her hair being down is more tied to her vulnerability, its full openness, as well as to the heptapods and language. These characterizations with the hairstyles are not fully consistent, but I do think it's interesting and shows how even the small elements of character design are often considered and give us insight into them as we watch the film. In our opening flash-forward montage, we get a mix of them, but notably the ponytail makes a large surge as Hannah gets older, and with the crushing moment, her hair is down. As we turn to modern, she's in a professorial haircut. The haircut seems to serve its purpose, it's business-focused, not getting in her eyes, and while still maintaining that professorial and somewhat amicable look. But we're not going to focus on this hairstyle in these scenes. In bed, her hair is down, and is each time when she wakes up as well, including, of course, when she's woken by the helicopter before putting it into a ponytail. Ponytails are often tied to practicality. Her hair remains in a ponytail largely all the way until the second heptapod session. This scene is not business exactly. It's her lying to keep her focus, to keep the heptapods. It's in a ponytail, again, as she explains what's necessary. The first time we re-encounter the bun is around 49 minutes into the film. She's just had a moment with Ian, Nathan, and Evan Costello, and it's also at this moment we get more flashbacks of the future. From here, we largely continue to see her in bun mode, continuing to tie this hairstyle to Ian and to the flashbacks. Even the dream sequence. By 1 hour in, this is the new norm. After the blast, she wakes up and of course her hair is down. But when she's back up, so is her hair. Now, in these flashbacks, we're starting to see the ponytail appear more. I would make the case, although this might be wrong or flimsy even, that the flashbacks where she has a ponytail is the post-Ian parts of her life. Next, as she leaves the debate stage, as I'll call it, she takes the pod up to the main craft. The atmosphere within forcibly alters her hair into that of being down. She is forced to be in a state of vulnerability. For much of the present of the rest of the film, it remains down. We can also note, although somewhat challenging to see correctly, that at the fancy party, she's got her hair in a bun too. In the continued flash forwards, it seems like she's willing to let her hair down and be comfortable around Ian, although again, with some of the intercut shots, it's hard to make this case really stick. All this to say, this film is just so good. It really is in the small details that great films elevate themselves. And speaking of this film being so good and Lucy's character, obviously on first watch she comes off as depressed about her dead daughter. But on second watch, her character becomes, to me, even more interesting. Who is this woman that's fully uninterested in the world around her? Who fully doesn't engage with the fact that aliens are here? She just shows up to work the next day. Aliens do not interest or distract her until language comes into play. At which point, all of a sudden, The game has been changed. She lies to keep the job on the base. She minimizes the stress, hallucinations, and effects the job is having on her when she's there. Isn't that cool? Isn't that interesting to note that about her character? How on second watch you get all these reveals? How you learn more? God, this film is so good. Obviously, I have to just highlight Amy Adams' performance. Inventing emotions we haven't experienced, making sure she isn't playing it so obvious that we realize it too soon. I don't know enough about film editing, or sound mixing to really speak on those ones, but I think the sound in this film is really good, and I think the way this comes together in post-production, how you make the balancing act of revealing and giving information in the editing process, as well as how you make it circular, how you divvy up the flashbacks, and wonderful choices were made here that I think are worth honoring. The communication in this film, man, it's so cool how they emphasize it. I think the film highlights the importance of preconceived conceptions and perspective in communication. Sometimes you just text someone and you think, they're pissed, but they're just high as fuck. And you think, this guy, he's playing some sort of game with me, but he's just responding between rounds. Context is a scarily important thing, and language is a scarily malleable tool. This one, too, is kind of a stretch, but they don't call me Mr. Fantastic for nothing. I haven't seen played Marvel Rivals. I don't know. So I kind of see Louise's journey here as almost a pretty standard hero's journey. I meant to draw specific parallels, but I found multiple different takes on what exactly the hero's journey steps are. The way I see it, she has her first call adventure when the aliens land, but she fully ignores this. She goes about her day as normal, more or less. Going being short with her mom, flipping through the channels, going to sleep. Going to work the next day is emblematic of her refusal to the call. With the Colonel, we get the call again, and depending on how you want to view it, this is either the mentor, someone to help her get across, or just, the mode of transportation. We cross our first threshold, and I don't know if I want to call that the Camp Montana or actual first contact. And it's at first contact that we meet our threshold guardians, Abbott and Costello. We encounter also our helper or party member or whatever you want to call him, Ian. And if you don't view mentor as the person getting across the threshold, then the person that's offering guidance, the person helping Louise figure out her journey, can be viewed as Abbott and Costello, can be viewed as future Louise, or even Hannah. Next up is the challenges and tests. We can probably view this as the learning of the language and even blast, whereafter she must go to the inmost cave and reconcile with her future, past, and present. This is her transformation, her revelation, her abyss of death and rebirth, although it's not her own that we focus on. She returns transformed with the gift of the goddess, if you will, in order to master both worlds, save humanity, and return to her normalcy. The world then, and I really don't mean to draw parallels to COVID, returns to normal, almost as if this world-shattering event didn't happen, with her being a professor and back to her job. So let's talk about it. The visuals are incredible. The score affects me every time still. The hair is on point. The reveal hits and still works on later viewings. These aliens look and feel like aliens, not just human, but it's purple. They sound alien. They write alien. They're revealed to be even more alien. I've seen varied takes, metaphors applied, and key takeaways with this film. Is it death? Is it film? Is it life? Is it other people? Is it about love, language, politics, or whatever? To me, I'll tell you what it is. It's a good-ass movie. I think it's a wonderful, thought-provoking film. I think it ties together two of the things I love the most, film and language. The fact that this isn't my favorite movie is what surprises me. However, I still give it a 5 out of 5. I love it so much. Additionally, I put some great videos about this film in the description below. Please check them out if you want. God, this whole video has left a bad taste in my mouth like I just wrote a paper for English or something. Next week, I'm gonna do something different.